Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Last Saturday I did a video talking about some of my smaller coffee table books that are luxury themed. Today we are going to be talking about these big giant ones. So first up is the Hermes scarf, history and mystique. And the thing that I like about this book, as opposed to the Hermes book that's from Hermes that I talked about at the end of the last video, is that first off, you get a ton of beautiful illustrations showing these scarves. You get to learn some about how the scarves are made, but you also get to hear a lot about the inspiration behind the different designs. And that's something that I felt that the other Hermes book was really missing. My one critique is that one, the print's not the easiest print to read, even though it's large. And then some of the information on the designs is away from the actual scarf, just because of how they had to arrange the artwork and the text. But at $40, I think, from TJ Maxx, $40 or $50, I think that this is a lot better deal for a book, as it is a lot more informative than the Hermes one. Now, another book is going to be Chanel and Her World. Now, one of the things that I like about this book is that it does bring in a lot of the culture of the times, and so it really helps to show how Chanel was very distinct and different from the way that fashion was, particularly when she came onto the scene originally, as well as later on when she came back with the rise of Dior. Now, there are plenty of photos in here, plenty showing Chanel, but plenty also just showing historical images, historical artwork, and that is very interesting. The book features a lot of different blurbs of information as opposed to being like in a chapter format or in some other type of format. So it's not my favorite format information-wise, but does have a lot of really interesting information. I think, however, though, that with this book being usually around $50, that the little book of Chanel, which, if I grab it, that the little book of Chanel really pretty much sums up a lot of the things that are in this book, but in a much more readable format, and the pictures are much more Chanel themed. Now, next up is going to be Yves Saint Laurent, and I very much enjoyed this book. There was a lot of really good information, and one of the things that was unique to this book is that it provided a timeline, which you can see on this page, but they had this massive timeline running throughout the first part of the book, and then you get into parts of the book where it focuses on color. So the majority of this book shows different designs in a specific color. And I think that that was a really interesting way to do this book, and a lot of information in this book was told much more in an interview style, so that was also a very interesting and unique aspect to the coffee table book. And how this information was presented very differently from other books. So I think that this is a house that you enjoy or are interested in. This is a very interesting book. It's also very different. It's not one that you can just sit down and read the way that you could with the little books, but it's something you could just pick up and learn an interesting fact or two here or there because of the actual layout of the book itself. Now, this one, while not typically among the luxury houses, is Ralph Lauren. And this book was probably, out of the big, thick books, this one was the most readable, and I really enjoyed that aspect of this book. It also explained a lot of Ralph Lauren's design decisions, his passion for fashion, and it also just had a lot of really cool photographs in it. There were ad campaigns, there were people historically, and I just really enjoyed this as a good read. And it is, I love the plaid that is on this book. I love the gold on the spine. And this one is such a beautiful book to have sitting around, as well as being a very enjoyable book to read. And I believe that this one's normally about $25 at TJ Maxx. And so you can absolutely get a really good deal on this book. And I definitely recommend picking up this book if you are a fan of Ralph Lauren. Now, the last book that I have to talk about is this massive one. And there's the spine. This is just simply called Louis Vuitton, and this is a book you can find on Amazon. You can find it at TJ Maxx. It's normally, I believe, $80 to $100 on Amazon TJ Maxx, so it is the most expensive. But this book is massive. It is very, very heavy. Do not set it on a delicate table because it is that heavy. If you dropped this on your foot, you would probably break a toe. That being said, this book is super fascinating. It talks about the history of Louis Vuitton. It touches on the manufacturing process. It touches on fashion. It touches on ad campaigns. It has absolutely stunning photographs. It has a lot of really interesting information. And this, I feel like for a Louis Vuitton lover, is a book that you really should have in your house because it is that good of a book. And it's very interesting as well. And so this one is probably my favorite of my luxury coffee table books. It is just absolutely massive. You guys see it all the time in the background of my videos sitting up right there. And that is because it is so big that I really don't have many other places to put it. But I absolutely love this book. And although it is the most expensive book, I think that it is one of the most worth it. Out of all the books I reviewed over the 2 videos, I highly recommend this one. I highly recommend the Ralph Lauren book. And then I highly recommend the Christian Louboutin Little Book and the Dior Little Book. So these are definitely my 4 favorites out of the 11 that I have shown you guys. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed getting to see these books a little bit more. Hopefully they have given you a book that you want to look for as well. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!